Manchester United 3, Charlton 0. We advance into the semi-final stage of the Carabao Cup, winning our quarter-final tie tonight at Old Trafford as Erik ten Hag keeps up his perfect record. Yes, Manchester United's perfect record. Since we've returned from the World Cup, we've won every single game. Now, granted, the opponents, you would say, should be being defeated by United, but you can only play who's in front of you. You can only beat who's in front of you. You can be professional and get the job done. And that is exactly what United and Erik ten Hag are doing right now. They are getting the job done. This kind of game this evening, when you're playing a mid-table League One side, when this draw was made, we were all buzzing. We were saying, brilliant draw. We never get good draws, especially in more recent history. So to play Burnley at home, followed by Charlton in the Carabao Cup, you say, brilliant, that's a real good draw. But you've still got to get the job done. You've still got to win the match. And despite heavy rotation, we've done just that. Anthony gets the goal early on in the first half, opens the scoring, doing a real Anthony goal. And that is right-hand side, cut inside, whip it with his left foot, side netting. That's what Anthony does. That's his game. That's the style of play that I think Erik ten Hag expects from him. It's goals in consecutive games as well. He scored in the last game against Everton, now scores in this one against Charlton today. And I think that's positive. I think that this season, we're just going to get that from Anthony. I think, well, if he can score in every game, I think that'd be brilliant. But I think my point is, I think that's what we're going to get from him. I think we're going to see performances that are somewhat inconsistent during the game, where he can do moments of magic and brilliance, where he can whip the ball in the corner. You go, what a goal, that was brilliant. And then sometimes he doesn't take on the player, he doesn't go past the player, or he stalls the counter-attack, and you go, oh, Anthony, what are you doing? Decision-making. I think that's what we're going to get with Anthony. But look, if he's putting the ball in the back of the net, I don't really care that much. Now, it was a strange one, because after that, we had some few chances the game went on. I think their goalkeeper, I want to shout out their goalkeeper, Maynard Brewer, because he made some really good saves for Charlton this evening, actually, and kept the team in it. We probably should have finished the game a lot earlier, killed it off a lot earlier than we did. And Ten Hag made some subs in the second half, brought on some of the bigger hitters, brought on Rashford, brought on Casemiro, brought on the likes of Christian Eriksen as well. And it was funny because I felt like he did that because not that the game was getting away from us, but the game was just kind of petering out, but not in the way that you're comfortable with, because of course if Charlton get a goal and if they equalise, there is no extra time. It just goes straight to penalties. And really, you think that would have been Charlton's game plan from the beginning. That would be stay in the game as long as possible, nick a goal and maybe go 1-0 up. Or if we are 1-0 down, nick a goal and we'll take it to penalties and we'll see what happens. So I think Ten Hag brought on those bigger hitters, those Rashfords, Eriksens, Casemiros, to kill the game off and get more goals. But it didn't happen immediately. The game was still kind of petering out and we still weren't really doing all of that much. And KG kind of spoke about it in his fan view, and it is somewhat true that when Facundo Pellistri came on, he looked lively on the right-hand side. He looked dynamic. He looked more direct than, say, Anthony. Now, I'm not going to sit here and suggest that, Facundo should be starting more than Anthony on the right-hand side. I don't think that's the case, but he could be an option. And look, we've got so many games coming up. So many games. We've got a game every 3 days for I don't know how long, but so many games, and they're all just as important as each other. And I'm more comfortable after games like this evening knowing that some of those players, not all of them, but some of them can come in and do a job. Now, I've seen criticism for the likes of Anthony Elanga in this game. I think that it's a smidge harsh because what you're looking at a 20-year-old left winger who, to be honest, is not the best left winger at Manchester United. And I think there are questions about his quality to be a United player. But you're also judging, again, a 20-year-old okay left winger playing as a striker for Manchester United at Old Trafford. I think we should cut him a bit of slack there. I think Alejandro Garnacho, once again, was brilliant. I think he's such an old-fashioned winger that he gets the ball and he just drives every single time, drives at the fullback, puts the defender under pressure, in trouble. Now, some people I saw said, but he's being wasteful, Owen. I would also say this is a guy in his late teens. let him develop. The fact that he's showing this kind of potential, this kind of promise so early, and he's not afraid of the shirt. Erik ten Hag this week spoke about signings and spoke about the mentality, the personality to handle the pressure of the shirt. The fact that this teenager can handle that pressure and wants more, wants to play more, wants to express himself, wants to attack players, I think is so fantastic, and his decision making will get better. I'm more than happy for him to make those bad decisions or make those mistakes in games like tonight against Charlton in the Carabao Cup quarter-final at Old Trafford, much rather than against Manchester City or Arsenal. And I don't think he'll start those games, but I think he could definitely come on. And I think really he could be an attacking threat in both games. I think that's a positive too. So I really enjoyed his performance too. Marcus Rashford, he can't stop scoring. He cannot stop scoring, and again, it just goes to show the confidence. And again, I know the comments from opposition fans, mainly because they do not want to see Manchester United succeed, will be, oh, what, you're happy that you beat a League One side 3-0? Well, okay, but we won. We won, and we're through to the semi-final, and a trophy's really in sight. There's still big teams left in this competition. Newcastle are joining us in the semi-finals. You would suspect Man City get through as well, so there are still difficult teams left in it, but you've got to be in it to win it. And the fact that we're in the Final Four, I've just seen a quote from Erik ten Hag saying Final Four means nothing. It's about winning it, and that's the key thing too. People can focus on the minutiae of these performances and focus on an individual player not being good enough or this, that, and the other, but let's think broad strokes here, people. And the broad strokes are we're in a semi-final. Look, the FA Cup, whilst we're in the fourth round, it's already beginning to look promising. We're in the top four. Yes, we've got a really difficult Europa League game, but things are positive under Erik ten Hag. And ten Hag rotated and played a side that, particularly that sort of front four that he started with, Anthony, Kobbie Mainoo, who I thought did a really good game, actually, so far. So far. I think he did a really good game this evening. I think that, again, looks to be a player that can handle the personality, handle the pressure of playing at Old Trafford. I think that's a spark for the future, certainly. But we won a game 3-0 with that sort of front four of Anthony, Mainoo, Garnacho and Elanga, and I think that's positive. Yes, it may have taken some more senior pros to come on and actually get the job done, but I think there's a lot to be positive about. And since I'm ending on positivity, Casemiro, I mean, what more honestly needs to be said about Casemiro? Write him off at your peril. I know Graham Souness, I'm even, I don't even want to say that really during a fan view here on the United channel, but wrote him off as a so-so player. Oh, it's just because he played in the midfield with Luka Modric and Toni Kroos. No, it's not. Casemiro more than contributed to that side, and he earned all of his 5 Champions League that he currently has. Okay, and he's gliding through games. He came on this evening as a second half substitute, and he didn't even play like a defensive midfielder or a ball-winning midfielder. He was just sort of stroking the ball around the pitch. The passes, he's starting off moves, the third goal, he just sprays it out to Facundo, who puts it back to Rashford. I mean, he just oozes class, absolute world class. And he didn't play against City earlier on the season. He was alongside Ronaldo on the bench, and oh my goodness, he's playing at the weekend. He's absolutely playing at the weekend. He is becoming more and more critical as the weeks go on, just to how we can perform and us winning games and creating goals and winning the ball back. He's just fantastic. So another victory for Erik ten Hag. On to the next round, and who knows, there could be a trophy in the future.